So my next question is, when you're writing your scripts for square dancing, how do you get inspiration for that? How do you, I guess think of or connect whichever moves you want to connect with each other?
Well, that's an excellent question. So, first of all, I should say that not everybody writes scripts and then reads them. Many people do it extemporaneously. That's harder. That's lots harder to do well. But especially since you're mixing all these people up, and now you have to get them together with their original partner. It's a very difficult jigsaw puzzle you're trying to solve quickly, and with making decisions on a fraction of a second time scale. But there are certain sequences of moves that flow well together, mm-hmm. where you know that the body is the dancers' bodies are turning in certain directions. So you don't want to have them turning and then suddenly turn the other way. That's bad calling. That's one thing. So there are these nice sequences that you just learn by doing or dancing.
Yeah, and so I have two things to contribute to that. How do we come up with ideas? One of them is that we actually dance to we dance to excellent callers when we go to a festival or when we go to dances and people are calling here. And if we if there is something that we really like, we're like, wow, that's so cool. Like, that was great. We actually we'll write it down so we can, learn it and use it in our own writing. And then another way that we generate some, kind of interesting material is we might pick a particular call and then try to work out interesting flow sequences, as Greg has described, that involve that call, like building blocks that we can use, and we'll dance them here in the living room to see how they feel, and do they flow nicely, and are they satisfying? So,
and another important tool in the toolbox is that there are computer programs that show dancers. You can type in the calls, or even with some of those computer programs, you can even speak the calls, and with voice recognition. The dancers on the screen will dance the calls, mm-hmm. and so you can kind of compose a dance that way using a computer.
Oh wow!
Before computers, people had what were called checkers. They would have little cutouts of dancers, and we still use those. Mm-hmm. So you have checkers, cutouts of dancers, and you sort of push them around on the table.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sort of like chess, a little.
Yeah.
A little like chess. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your favorite call?
So a call is a sequence of dance moves. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Karen, what's yours?
I don't know. I have a crazy affection for Chain Down the Line.
Okay.
So it's just, I just like it. How about,
I like something called Relay the Deucey, which is fairly
one of the
elaborate.
Long calls.
Yes, one of the long calls. Flutter wheel and reverse flutter wheel. Extremely nice.
Yeah. It just sounds good.
I like how each one of them.
We could actually illustrate those for you with those computer programs if you're curious to see what those look like. Do you think we could do that, Karen? Can you bring up Colorama?
I don't have Colorama on this computer.
Oh, what a shame. Okay. Oh, well.
That's okay. And you talked a little bit about this, but briefly, could you just explain the mathematics behind square dancing? You can pull up the slides if you want to share your screen.
Well, I don't think we need to, because the talk goes on and on about that.
Once we get started with that, it'll just take over the whole podcast. So. But we did. You
start, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the first, the first kind of mathematical thing is that you can think of the arrangement of the dancers on the floor as a physical state of the square, and the calls are like operators that act on the square and change it from one state to another. Mm. Sort of like in quantum mechanics, you have a time evolution operator that moves, evolves the state in time. And here we're evolving the state of the square by acting on the square with these calls. Another physics aspect has to do with symmetry. Like there's certain symmetries in the square, and the calls preserve the symmetries or break the symmetries or restore the symmetries. And so, we both have our, in our own fields, work a lot with symmetries that, we see, every time we look at a square, we see those kinds of, the symmetries of the square.
And there are also interpretations in terms of knot theory and abstract mathematics like category theory.
Right.
So,
yeah. And
you don't need to know any of that, by the way, to square dance.
Right. Yes. A good thing too. But
I think virtually no square dancers think in those terms when they're dancing, but you can interpret it.
Right. But in one version of the talk, we impressed the mathematicians at the Park City Mathematics Institute by presenting a theorem about square dancing as in the framework of category theory, and making even a fake journal reference.
Oh, wow.
But it was a true theorem. I mean, the theorem was true.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like gobbledygook that sounded like a theorem. It was actually true.
Okay. Wow. I was also thinking, since there are so many different combinations of, moves that you can put together in one call, that's another form of mathematics behind square dancing. Maybe. And I also did notice when I was watching your video, when you were calling, that a lot of callers kind of took on a Southern twang or a Southern accent. Maybe it just reminded me a lot of that. Do you think that when you square dance, there's a shift in your mood, or maybe like it makes you feel a certain way that other forms of music or other activities maybe don't?
I don't. Well, first of all, you don't need a Southern twang. So obviously, we don't naturally speak with a Southern twang. Although sometimes when I'm calling, I will kind of put on that kind of show. But I should comment, that square dancing is a very international activity, and there's some really fantastic English square dancers. And they don't even attempt that. They call with their English accents, and it sounds great.
Or their German accents.
Right. But, we were just a few days ago dancing to Di Green and Terry McCann and from England, again by Zoom. And, they have English accents. That sounds great.
But I guess, in terms of mood, though, one of the reasons that people enjoy square dancing is that it's just a really amazing mood. It's lifter and energizer. Like there have been many times at the end of the week on a Friday night when I've been feeling like, oh, I'm so tired. I don't really want to go out dancing. And then we go, and then we're like, after 15 minutes or so, we're feeling, start to feel good and start to feel energy.
That's true. It's a great mood booster.
Leave your troubles, you leave your troubles behind and just enjoy the dancing.
Right. What is the meaning of music to you, do you think? Maybe in square dancing or just music in particular? What role does that play? Or maybe I should say, just like what is the meaning of that to you?
It's hard to answer. Music is such an important part of my life and always has been. I always listen to music. Always been involved with music in some way. So it's just, and it sort of can't really put my finger on meaning. It's just an essential part of who I am.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it's also just, really connects on an emotional level, like listening to certain pieces of music, certain classical pieces of music, or certain songs just wake something up
Yeah.
inside of you. And you get that feeling of of that connection to the music and to the performers, and that's just for me like that's also kind of a very powerful positive feeling.
Yeah, I totally agree. When I play the piano too, I also feel the same thing. Like it definitely, the type of the music that I play or the type of the music that I listen to definitely does play a really big role. So yeah, I totally agree. And I also have a question. If you could make a Spotify playlist and you could only put 5 songs on it, it might be different for, the two of you, but what would that look like?
Well, okay. I mean, I think that depends a lot on the kind of mood you're in or you're trying to get yourself in and what the circumstances are. For example, when I go running, Mozart's Jupiter Symphony, especially the last movement, is quite a great piece of music to run to. If I'm sick, the middle movement of Opus 132 of Beethoven's String Quartet, called the Heiliger Dankgesang, which he wrote while convalescing from an illness, is kind of perfect. And I have playlists for these different situations. One is called Quiet Night, and it has things like the Heiliger Dankgesang and Rachmaninoff's Vocalise and so on. But if I had to choose, I would choose a lot of Bach. I would choose the Well-Tempered Clavier and the suites, Goldberg variations, and Schubert, impromptus.
Yeah, I think if again, I enjoy listening to all different kinds of music, classical, and the more square dancing calling we've been doing, the more I've been listening to different kinds of popular music and country music, both from classic stuff from the 50s like Buddy Holly, all the way through disco and up to the current day. But I think if I had to pick 5 songs on a playlist, I think they would also be classical, like chamber music, string quartets, because those other songs like Buddy Holly songs or Johnny Cash songs are great, but I could see myself listening to Bach or to Beethoven's String Quartet, like every day forever. I have actually, now having tried to sing songs, I have a much higher respect for pop musicians than I did before. I can now see all the like the incredible talent and artistry that's going into getting those songs and making them so catchy and cool and appealing that they just get like millions and millions of views on YouTube.
It really, yeah, but, it's one of those things that looks easy,
right?
But
they're
But I have to say that square dance calling is, for me, I mean, I never paid much attention to popular music. I mean, of course, I was aware of it and aware of many songs, but it's been quite an education. And I was basically listening mostly to classical music most of my life until I started the square dance calling.
That's great. One last thing before I ask you to maybe perform a little something for us is I have one more question for Karin. And that's, do you have any advice for female students who want to get into science? Any qualities that they should have, characteristics? What would you say?
I guess, I mean, my advice is maybe, really for everybody, which is, but I think sometimes, women students, are, don't get as much encouragement, or they get some active discouragement, or if they're having difficulty, they might feel that this is not really for them and that they shouldn't stick with it. So I think my advice is, if you enjoy physics, you get really, if you love doing it, get immersed in it, then you should, don't let people outside discourage you. You should, look for good mentors and good fellow students, and ignore the naysayers. Keep at it if you believe that's right for you. And I think that, for example, for me, I started studying physics at Princeton, and Greg has always been a great supporter for me. And sometimes even when things weren't going so well, he was always encouraging me and helping me keep my spirits up and keep at it. So that's it's if you can find people like that to help you, or teachers, mentors.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. So I guess, is there maybe a call that you would like to perform for us now?
So what we got ready for you. So again, you can choose. You can pick and choose as you like. So we set up to call, like, basically, maybe this would be like a minute and a half. We'll each call one sequence for you, the way we would call if we were calling on Zoom. And then I'll also share with you a video of us calling at the National Square Dance Convention, where you can see us, up on which you can see us up on the stage, and the people, and the people dancing while we're calling.
Okay, sure. That sounds great.
Because it's more fun to it's more fun to see the people dancing, to see the people dancing. And
bow to your partner, bow to your corner too. Hey, walk around that corner, girl. Left hand ready for a dope passo. A partner by the left, a corner by the right, a partner by the left. 4 ladies chain across. Join 16 hands, circle left. Circle to the left with the one that's boss. Ladies in the men's sachet, let me hear about it. Ladies in the men's sachet, circle to the left the same old way. Element left with the old left hand, let's go the right and left grand. Can't go home with old man Bill, bridge washed out at the bottom of the hill.
When you're home, has past the ocean there. Extend and swing through 2 by 2. Boys run right, couples circulate. Chain down the line. You turn yours and I'll turn mine. Lines forward, up and back you go. Then pass through, bend the line. Star through, there's your corner, element left. And a right and left grand, round the ring you go. Meet at home and bow to the partner corner too, 'cause you're through.
Okay, that's a little sampling and of what we sound like.
Right, and then I picked a video that we took at the convention. Here is Good Luck Charm, short version. You can see you can see us on the right hand side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want a silver dollar. I don't want an old horseshoe. Well, the men's alright, throw it one side. Get the fella hand and you weave that ring. Come on, honey, be my little good luck charm. Swing a girl and promenade. I want a good luck charm hanging on my arm to have to hold tonight. Will the signs promenade travel halfway round? Walk you past the ocean there. Extend, swing too late, chasing down the line. You're doing fine now, square through 3 hands round. Swing the coin at every promenade. I want a good luck charm hanging on my arm to have to hold tonight. Circling! I don't want a 4-leaf clover. I don't want no horseshoe. Well, the men start right, rolling one time, go. The ballerina, can you read that ring? Come on, honey, be my little good luck charm. Oh, swing your own and promenade. I want a good luck charm hanging on my arm to have to hold tonight. Swing to have to hold tonight. All right, Department Corner 2, thanks for square. Good answer.
Wow.
So that was I saw people dressed up and
Yes.
they were having a good time.
They seem to be having a good time. Yeah.
That looked very fun. That was
And
great.
we were having a good time too.
Yes, I could tell. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you.
being on here and for sharing that with us. That was amazing. And it looked so fun. I want to square
It
dance.
is so fun.
It is. Give it a try.
Circle left. Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring. Men star right once around. Alaman left the corner, weave the town. Oh, I fell into a burning ring of fire. Swing and promenade as flames go higher, and it burns, burns, burns. That ring of fire, that ring of fire. Alaman left your corner. Bow to your partner, Zoomers too.